I can't wait for things to return to some normalcy where I don't have to communicate to you through a camera. I worry a little bit that in this isolation, which many of you are in, that it has a bad effect. So when you're isolated, you are vulnerable to dissipation, to temptation, to discouragement, to fears. For a number of people, this can become a time where good things are lost. And perhaps the spirit of the world has easy access where the church does not have easy access. During these days, more and more people are using technology as a means to communicate, to do education, to follow the Mass. And although it is helpful as a tool in this way, it's also a danger as well. The reality is that we have a job to do. I have a job to do, you have a job to do, and we cannot neglect that. We're at a disadvantage in trying to get the work done. That just means we have to work harder and not fall down on the job. I still have to be pastor. You still have to be good Catholics. You have to be good Catholic parents. If you have an 8-foot hole to dig and your backhoe dies, it means that you have to still dig the 8-foot hole with a shovel. It's much harder, and yet the same work has to be done. So let us give our best efforts during these days and not be distracted by the things that parade as very serious, but are in the end still distractions. We are in this time of the COVID virus. In some ways, it's a big distraction, and it can be an excuse to, again, fall down on the job. We have the slanderous campaign of church militants, and in the end, it's a big, big distraction. It should not stop us from doing the work that we have to do. Does such a campaign suddenly annul the work of the society? Let us not forget the good work done every day by the Society of St. Pius X. If only we had a tenth of the attention given to that good work of the society done every day as it's received for these slanders. Remember the resistance that happened a few years ago and all the hoopla around that, and people felt that they had to know and to follow, and in the end it was just a great agitation and distraction. So let's not be distracted from our work, from our duties. And what are our duties? Let's go through a few of those. We do our best, of course, to provide the masses throughout the week. On Sundays, to provide communions for those that were not able to make it to Mass that week. Remember that the Sunday is still the Lord's Day. It's still a day that we have to sanctify, and that obligation doesn't go away. On a normal Sunday, you would get up, you would make the sacrifice of dressing appropriately for Mass, the sacrifice of traveling to Mass, the sacrifice of attending it well. That sacrifice has to be there, that spirit of sacrifice. I think it'd be a great idea if you were to put on your Sunday best, come down to the family room, make sure that the family room is an environment for prayer. Follow the Mass, if you're able to do so, to read the propers of the day, to make a spiritual communion as a family. Communion on Sunday is good, but it's not sufficient. Make a schedule for yourself on a Sunday. The prayer of the church is scheduled and spread out. Schedule instruction, acts of piety. Pray your rosary as a family. Don't have the attitude of, let's get the prayer out of the way, but truly sanctify the day. And especially during these times, we need to sanctify ourselves. We need to take advantage. Remember that you have a job to do. Sanctify your souls and the souls of your children. It's wonderful that Father Wagner has called for a rosary crusade. It's a wonderful opportunity to focus upon what is important. What is our true work here and now? It's to get to heaven. It's to sanctify our souls and help sanctify the souls of others as well. I refer you to sspx.org for the details of that Rosary Crusade. Essentially, the intentions of the crusade are to pray for those affected, whether it be in health or economy, by the COVID virus. Also to pray for the protection and the growth of the priests, the religious, and the faithful of the Society of St. Pius X, that we may be strengthened during these days in our theological virtues, our faith, our hope, our charity. And finally, also to pray for the Church in its return to tradition and a love for the traditional liturgy. I could recommend many other local and personal intentions to the Rosary Crusade, but those are the intentions that Father Wegner gives. It's a great moment to remember what is truly important. When the virus first caused things to shut down, there was general worry and panic. And when we panic, we hold on to the things that we feel important that will be lost. I wasn't worried so much about spiritual lethargy in those first days, but now is a time where the abnormal becomes normal, the absence from Mass becomes normal. I fear souls losing that appreciation for the holy sacrifice of the Mass, for their prayer life. I fear a lethargy coming in to our duties of state. If anything, it's a time to work harder. We are here to save our souls, to save the souls of others as well. And you have to believe in this. You have to live this. Believe in prayer. Prayer is our solution. Prayer is our only hope during these days. Pray very much. God can take all hardship away in a moment if he wants to. But he wants to use this time as a reminder of the important spiritual work. Enter into this Rosary Crusade with gusto, with a desire to contribute with the prayers of others. Pray for our Parish Academy, very, very important work of the Church, which is the work of education. And we have a great grace in the Academy of St. Vincent's. A great opportunity for the Church to do a work which is rightfully hers. Education in general is a work of collaboration between the family and the Church. Of course, it's my pastoral concern that you take this education as parents seriously. Also to take advantage of the opportunity that we have with a parish school. We have so far for next year about 140 students enrolled, and I know we have well over double that in the parish. It would be helpful for me to understand how we can extend this work to the rest of you. How am I going to understand that better in my isolation? To invite you to give me some feedback. And so in this email below, you'll find a link to a form that you can fill in. And it's completely confidential. I invite those families with children who are not in our school to complete this form. Try to make it as simple as possible, just a few pertinent questions and an invitation even to talk in person to help me understand how you could take advantage of the schooling that we have here at the church. Again, it's completely confidential. It's only for my eyes and no one else's. I really want to emphasize this work of education. It's so important for ourselves as adults to take it very serious, and especially for our children to form them when they're young, when they're very impressionable. I give one among many reasons why the presence of the church in education is so important in this day. And that is to protect our young from false ideologies. There are many false ideologies out there. What is an ideology? An ideology is an idea, a system of thought, certain principles which are detached from reality and therefore false principles. But the whole system of that ideology seems to make sense because it follows a logic from those false principles. We can be very affected by them without knowing it. You take, for example, an ideology of feminism, which has so infiltrated society today, even our traditional society. It's deep within. It's an ideology. It rests upon false principles. It's detached from reality. The church is concerned with reality. God is real. His world is real. The law that he instills in nature is real. We have to be careful of these false ideologies. And now today we have these strange ideologies on gender, so accessible and affecting our young. And so the church, whose interest it is to protect the innocent especially from error, wants to give them good, true ideas based upon what is truly real. And Catholic tradition is a vehicle for such truth. We have a job to do. Let us do it together. Let us do it well and not be discouraged in any way and not let anything be a distraction for us. Enter into the rosary crusade with a great faith in prayer. Join your prayers to mine and mine to yours. It will be my own personal effort to try to do the 15 decades of the rosary every day. You don't have to do that, of course, but it is a limited time for the Rosary Crusade to do something extra. Be assured, of course, of my own prayers for you. So my encouragement, let us keep doing our work together well.